Hi guys, thanks for your tips and your good wishes. I feel a little bit better at the moment, so I've been getting on with the bike. There are a few things I thought I was doing wrong. Obviously, put the forks in backwards. Live and learn. And I thought I was short of a long bolt, which goes through the back of the frame and holds the top part of the frame onto that part of the frame, because there seems to be a 12mm hole and only a 10mm bolt, and it just all flopping around everywhere, and it just didn't feel right. So I had a rummage through my boxes and I thought, well, there must be something in these boxes that I've missed. And there was, on this bolt, there was a couple of like top hat washers, if you like. If you can imagine, oh crikey, where is it now? If you know what a top hat washer is, it's sort of like that, only that's a top hat washer, only humongous. When it was up here, and funny enough, it had a 12mm outside diameter and the inside bore was 8mm. Would you believe it? So two of those came off of that bolt. I put them on the bolt with a nut so I didn't lose them. Well, that's where they go. Those top hats slid straight through there and straight through the frame as sort of guides, and then you whack your bolt through and do it up. So I wasn't actually missing a bolt there, which is great. What else have I done? Oh, let's have a look. I have put this frame on, just sort of dry fitted it. It's one of those things where, because I never took it apart, you've got to think outside the box when you're putting it back together, because I looked at this in situ as it was before that tank went in, and I thought, I bet you bottom dollar you cannot get that bottle in there without lifting this bracket up. And lo and behold, you can't. So I did that first. I put the bottle in, then I closed down this boot, if you like, and put the bolt through, and I was going, yes, get in there, E.T. You're thinking ahead, and it worked. But 5 minutes later I thought, well, hang on a minute, let's get this white panel in and get it in there. But could I get it under there without scratching all the paint off and bending plastic? No. So I had to undo the screw again, undo the nut and bolt, swing that back up, put the white cover in there with the bolt through it, then close it down, then put the bolt through, then put the bolt back through there. It's great, but it's very slow going. It really is. I have topped it up with 2-stroke oil, as you can see in that window. A nice cherry red, which looks rather nice. What's that? Muck on there. Muck on there? How disgusting. So I then put the pipe on. I bought a metre of pipe, and I just don't think it's going to be enough, and I don't actually think it's the right bore for the fuel. But there we are, we'll see. So I did that, and I thought to myself, well, this part of the wiring loom that comes out from the stator was literally hanging out all over the rear wheel, which isn't good. So I folded it under there. I thread this oil pipe down underneath the inlet manifold, and then out through there, and then straight onto there, and that's a really tight fit, so I'm happy with that. I can't see any weeping anywhere, which is good. And I turned the bleed screw there and opened it up a few turns, and within sort of 5 seconds I had red fluid coming out, so that is primed. There are quite a few things that you need to do when you're starting this bike from scratch for the very first time, kind of thing, and that's one of them. Prime the oil, obviously, otherwise you're going to have C's. I'll go through all the other processes in a bit, because you have to adjust the throttle cable and you have to adjust the oil feed cable exactly. You have to then adjust the brake cable, which also does the gear engage lever on the gearbox. So there's lots of that going on. This looks much happier with the nozzle on the inside. It looks a bit better. Looks a bit better like that, doesn't it? Okay. So I've got 3 outlets on there. You've got reserve. Yeah, that's reserve, and that's full. So those two go onto there, and then that one goes down to there. So what creates a vacuum then to open that up? We've got the outlet on the inlet manifold. So when that's sucking, obviously it's creating a vacuum, and it's opening it up. So I've got two pipes on there. I've got two pipes on the tank. That's four. So normal and reserve. Vacuum fuel in, and on the back of the tap we've only got three outlets. Or is it? No, there's four outlets. Let's go around the other side and take a look, because I'm... there we go, look, four outlets. So we've got fuel to carburetor, vacuum pipe in to this vacuum unit here. That makes complete sense, doesn't it? And then the flow, the reserve and normal there and there to go up to the tank here. Right, now I've taught myself, make sure you get the right way, I've sort of taught myself how that works, haven't I, kind of thing. But I think I've got it right this time. Well, the first time, so that's not bad. But I now certainly haven't got enough fuel hose to do that. Before I go too much further, I might pop a bit of fuel, put some pipes on there. I do have other pipage I can just use for testing. And then I could suck on that vacuum pipe, take it off the carb, suck on the vacuum pipe, see if I get flow of fuel. Most importantly, see if there are any leaks on this fuel tap, because they are renowned allegedly for leaking, and I've not changed any seals in there as such. You've got that disc behind the tap here, which has got those three little holes: reserve, fuel on, and prime. So that's another procedure. You put it into, that's a good sign, you put it into prime first, like so. Fuel goes down, unaided of vacuum or anything like that. It goes straight into there, fills the fuel bowl up, and then you put it onto on, and then yeah, on, reserve, pre. So there is no off as such. And you put it down, so it's prime up the top, down to fuel on, and you pull the handbrake, the brake in, and you kick it over, and everything's fine, and it all starts up lovely. I will be very surprised if it starts, because I'm not sure of that cheapo nasty coil. The old one I think is dead. I'm going to recheck that again with an HT cap on the HT lead. On my little Martindale tester, it's a brilliant little tester. When you go onto ohms, you can have kilo ohms or milliohms, and on each K or M setting you've got three different settings within there. So I didn't realise that. Again, it's something where you buy the tool. I've used it for many years, but not for ohm testing, because I've got my testing kit at work for Norman Electrics Q-Tech set. You don't use a multimeter to do electronics, electrics, sorry. Technically it's sort of frowned upon. So I've never really used it for ohms reading, and when I tested a couple of parts, as you saw earlier, a couple of the results were perfectly fine, but a couple of results just were completely way off. Now, whether they're correct or they're way off, I'm not going to know until the bike, I try to start it, really, in all honesty. But there we go. I'm waffling again, aren't I? Yeah, a bit of a wobbler earlier. Lost my cool a little bit. I had a break for about 10 minutes. No, I didn't. I had a good 3 hours indoors. Watched a really shit film, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to kick myself, because tomorrow evening when I come home from work, I'm going to want to get on the bike. It's been pissing down with rain, so it's beautiful weather this afternoon. So I've gotten out here, and I have gotten on, and I think you'll agree things are coming together. Right then, shall we see? Oh, my flipping feet! Shall we see if the gearbox gasket holds, we need to find 800 mils of oil. We pop the oil obviously in there, and this little sausage is the fill level. When oil comes out of there, that's level. Now, because my bike is on a slope sort of thing, it's on a good it's on a good 5 or 6 degree slope there, and I can't, because the front wheel's on the ground, I can't really jack the back up, so I'm just going to put a little bit more in. Okay, let's get some oil in our measuring container. There is 800 mils. Here is my 2040 oil, which is for this bike, apparently. We shall see. Glug, glug, glug. Right, that's 800 mil, give or take an egg cupful. Pop that back on because I know what I'm like. It'll be all over the floor in 2 minutes. Ooh. Ribena. Right, let's pop a doodaloo some oil in. Because when you spin the rear wheel round, it drives all the gears in the gearbox, and it'd be nice just to get that oil circulated and all the rest of it. I've got the 2-stroke oil in for the engine, and this is effectively gearbox oil, isn't it? So, right, let's let that trickle there. Oh, we have oilage on the floor. That means we are correct. So let me wind that up. And we'll get the Allen key in a second and just nip that up. I think it's a 6 mil. It's a 6 mil. It's something's just landed on my foot. I don't know what that is. I've got bits of bike literally everywhere, but it's good. Come on. It's good that I'm actually feeding bits into the bike now. Where the hell's my 6 mil gone? Oh, that'll do. Now, I don't need to torque this up because it's got a copper washer on, which will do its thing in sealing. What's this? Right, have we got anything leaking out? There's the oil, obviously the oil drainy plug. Let's have a look. Well, time will tell, won't it, in the morning when I've got a big puddle of oil on the floor. It looks okay so far. Okay, so far. Yeah, it looks alright, doesn't it? And if I push the wheel round, or pull it back even, forward, it freewheels, which it's supposed to. You can just about hear that clicking. Pull it back and we'll get all that oil circulated in there. I'm not going to put any fuel in the tank this evening, because if it does have a leak, then I'm going to have, it's just going to stress me out and have panic stations. It's going to be dripping all over the place and faffing about and all the rest of it. Okie dokie. Yeah, I'm sure that tire, well, I don't know, it's still holding some. I've not put any fresh in. Anyway, there we go. Right, this is start of episode 42. I've yet to tighten any of the major bolts up. The pins are actually, you know, the bolts are through the frame and through the, you know, shock absorber and all that kind of thing. But nothing's really tight yet, because I'm just waiting for something else to go wrong, to be honest. So there we go. Right, catch you guys in a bit. I think we're getting there, chaps. Right, let's do the exhaust pipe. I've been upstairs and I've pretty much gotten down all the bits and pieces that are required to put the bike back together, put the rear mud guard on, and just laid it over the tyre. Geez, doesn't that look cool? I'll go over what I've done on it in a bit more detail. First of all, top tip, if you want to do anything like this, try and get... It had paint on it, but here it was all bubbly rust. And as the bike, the engine, the exhaust fits on the bike like that, all that was really lumpy. Those two bolts hold the shield on there, but it wouldn't have covered all that. So I thought, I'll take that off using that old fella. And as I started taking it off, you know what it's like, you've just got to go around the whole thing, haven't you? And so it's all pretty much back to steel. And there's some like tin wormy stuff there. I've sort of scratched all that out, gone around the end piece. Ooh, there it is. And finished off with some carb cleaner unt rag. And this is literally what it gets off once you've given it a squirt and a rub, squirt and a rub, squirt and a rub. And there is an awful lot of debris that has come off of this. So that is spotless. I can't get right in there. I'm not worried about it too much. It's an exhaust pipe. It's a second-hand exhaust pipe. This is the exhaust pipe that my good friend Paul, aka Silk, has reworked for me. This was literally a colander here, literally, and the guy has worked his magic. He's waved his wand over this. Many hours have been spent on this. It would have been cheaper for him, well, for me, just to get another one. But you know what it's like. If it can be fixed, we will fix it. And Paul is of the same frame of mind. Good man. So yeah, done a absolute fantastic job on that exhaust. So now I'm going to treat it to some paint, which I'm using my weapon of choice. I've gone for this stuff, Pro Coat, up to 650 degrees, and I know this thing's going to go up to about 1000 degrees because of the sheer power output that it's got. Our aerosol solutions. Curing the coat will be touch dry in 15 to 30 minutes. The coated surface of the machine's vehicles may be cured during use. In other words, because it's VHT, which is very high temperature paint, you put it on and it looks a little bit crap. It looks like very matte, dry, thin paint. And when you apply the heat to it, it sort of almost enamels, if you like. It's like when you heat up glass, like glass dust, and then it pools into a pool of glass. It's like what's it called? Powder coating. Basically, once it goes in, it's all dull and nasty. You put it in the oven, bakes it, and it turns it chemically into a hardened surface. So hopefully this VHT black will do the same. We'll soon find out. I have used it before, but I've used so many different tins of this different kind of VHT paint, I can't remember exactly how that goes. So if that fails, I'm going to go back and use my old favourite barrel paint on there. But that only goes up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that going to be enough for that beast? Don't know. Answers on a postcard. Yeah. You know, I said about before many times about depression and anxiety. I don't mean to beat on about it, guys, if you're not interested in any of that kind of stuff. But if you are of a disposition where you've been a bit down, you get tongue-tied trying to form a sentence, you are constantly tired, you're getting migraine headaches, your mood has changed, you'll get up and go, your zest is just gone, and you're feeling pretty crap. Okay, chances are you need to speak to somebody. You know, I was like that. Well, I am like that. It doesn't go away, but I'm on medication, and it helps. Woo, Joey. What I'm saying is basically, do not. Thing is, there's not an awful lot out there to reach out to if you got that gumption to actually get up, you know, to do that. When you're depressed, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to get dressed and go out the house and go somewhere. You just want to curl up in your bed and cover yourself with a duvet and just stay there for a couple of weeks. That's all you feel like doing. I know, I've been there. So it's difficult to reach out, but what I will say is I spoke to Andy McCall today. Cheers, Andy. And he just basically reiterated that you must make time for you, not for anybody else, not for you. You have to recover. You have to just stop all functions that are a part of your being and a part of your everyday life. You've just got to press pause and then stop, and that's it. Just stop. Nothing else matters apart from your health and well-being. Nothing. There is nothing on this planet you can say to me that's more important. There is nothing more important than your health and well-being, guys. So if you do feel the way I described him, you have different sort of things going on with you. You might have, you know, this, that, or the other. I don't know. Everyone's different. Mine, I found that my speech was going, and then one day, I think I said before, I was at work. I just couldn't concentrate. I had to pull over and see what my job ticket, where my next job was, and then I'd drive off, and 10 metres down the road, and I couldn't remember where I was going again. And you try, you beat yourself up, you try and you try and you try. What's happening to me? What is going on? What is going on? Why can't I concentrate? And then I just burst into tears, like a big Jessie. I don't care, I don't mind saying it. And somebody saw me and said, hey, come on. They could see something wasn't right. I was in denial. You know, it doesn't happen to me, you know, that kind of thing. Rubbish. It can happen to anybody. Absolutely anybody, including you. So if you're feeling a little bit like that, all I can say to you, Andy said that to me today, he said, stop what you're doing and talk to somebody. It's really good to talk. A stranger is better to talk to. You can talk to members of your family if they understand that kind of thing. If they don't understand, just will bang your head against the wall. Not literally. So yeah, reach out to people, reach out to me, look down my comments of the people that have commented about it. Reach out to them, send them a private message. Just please talk to somebody. It will get easier. I won't say better, because it generally doesn't. But then, I know my triggers now. My triggers are foggy head, can't concentrate, slurring of words, drinking Ribena. No, it's not. No. Yeah, I know my triggers, and the last few weeks, you probably might have guessed, I have been borderline, and I still am. But I've managed to get out of the house this evening after work. I buried myself in work today, really cracked on with it, and I feel better today, this afternoon. I feel better this evening. I say, here I am out here now painting the exhaust, and I've wheeled the bike out the shed. So, you know, you can still get that functionality back, but do not beat yourself up about it. Talk to somebody, guys. Right. Anyway, with that said, I'm going to go and do some spraying. Take care of yourselves, guys, because no one else will. You need to take care of yourselves. Cool. Here he is. Here he is, Mr. Security. What's that, quality? Right. I have been squirting my stuff all over my pipe. The whole can has gone on. First, it says on the back, first of all, make sure it's all clean, make sure it's down to the steel, make sure there's no rust, which is fair enough. Then it says wipe over with thinners, which is basically what kind of the brake cleaner stuff is. I do have thinners, but I prefer to use the aerosol. So I did that, wiped all that off, and it says give it a mist coat. So I give it a mist coat. It says allowed to dry, but it literally dries immediately. It just goes matte. But I thought I'd warm the product part up, so I got the old butane on it, which goes up to hot, And so I heated all that up, and it didn't smoke or anything, it just sucked all that heat in and did it, and I felt it afterwards, after 2 or 3 minutes, and the whole silencer was pretty darn warm. And then it says give it a full coat, but don't put it on too heavy or too close because it will run, which it does. So this is what's happened. It doesn't go glassy, as you can see, because it is actually a matte finish, but there is the whole thing. It is pretty, what a summary type view, isn't it? Look at that. Look. Beautiful, isn't it? The cherry lolls are coming on. Anyway, stop digressing, easy. And now I've been back over this. The whole can's gone on, and I've been back over this with the hot air gun. And believe you me, that is darn warm. So I'm literally going to let that. So basically, I've cured it with the gas. Right, let's have a look around the bike and see what I've actually done. Oh my goodness! I have fitted this little tray. It was just a question of 2 6mm screws. I got a job lot of these about 10 years ago. They're stainless steel screws, 6mm, and they're about they're about 15mm long, something like that. That's better. You can see the bottoms of them there. Look, cool. So I say that is basically the tool tray. Little tool bag goes there, so that's cool. I fixed in the oil tank and plumbed it in, as you know. There's the pipe going to it, and we have no leaks today, so that's good. I didn't have any leaks yesterday. You can now see that little tiny gap there where I've had to file this this kickstart. Called it a stand, didn't I? See, that's where my brain was at. So it used to be bulbous there, this side, and that old grinder certainly whopped it down, and that is spot on, isn't it, really? Make something fit. If it doesn't fit or doesn't look like it fits, just play around with it. Make sure it, just tinker, and it will go. I've used those screws again on the back there simply because they're stainless, with a normal washer and a lock washer, spring washer. There we go, that's number plate bracket. Now the wiring, unfortunately, it's done that, but that is the original what it is. But what I'm going to do is I am actually going to take this back off again and get some heat shrink in there and literally try and seal that up, because I don't want rain going down and sitting in the wiring which is underneath. Looks all jolly good, doesn't it? That cool, isn't it? Like I say, there's the fuel pump waiting to get its pipes connected. Here is the tail light wiring loom. I've just basically put it in there. That's the second thing I fixed on. That is the battery tray itself. I have some sticky pads to go on the 3 sides, and what I might do is actually put a sticky pad on that back there so it doesn't vibrate and scuff away the beautiful paintwork. As you can see, again, stainless steel fittings. I've got bowls and bowls of stainless steel 6mm bolts and nuts and things, so I'm going to try and sort that out. These aren't genuine rubbers. They are just something I found in my box of rubbers, my oil, seals, O-rings and whatnot. Now that is supposed to be right against there. It should be like a car tyre, if you like, but like a non-pneumatic car tyre, if you know what I mean. It's solid, but I think this is just a bit too soft, and it's starting to work its way off of that pin. Now that's not what I need, so I'm going to have to start thinking outside the box again for that. That nut isn't done up yet. That bolt isn't done up yet. Neither is that one there, which holds this frame on. I've got some decals in place, as you can see. This is where that one's supposed to go. I had to take that off to sit that in and then refit that. I like the way that white's come out on the fuel gauge, and as I've gone over it with lacquer, it's kind of brightened that face up, so that's good. What else have I done? I've just removed a hair. So first things first, I think I'm going to get the wiring loom in shortly, and just sort of see how we'll get on. It's getting late in the evening already. I need to tighten up that front wheel. Do you remember I said that there's an oil seal missing on that front wheel? Well, there isn't. This side has an enclosed bearing, and this sort of big top hat thing just literally, I thought that there was an oil seal here, but there's not. That top hat thing just slides in there, and now I can literally do that nut up with a screwdriver through that hole and torque that up, and I won't get no more wobble on the front. And once I've done that, I can install the front mudguard, which will start to look a bit jiff, won't it? That's literally just balanced in there just because it's safe there, it's out of the way, it's not going to get scratched or trodden on. What else did I do? Brand new spring on the old stand there. It's looking good, isn't it? Like I say, first job, I've primed the oil already. I want to see, once the wiring loom's in, it'll probably be some evening this week, not today, because it's getting on, and I don't want to push myself and make mistakes. So, but I want to see if there's a spark. I really can't wait to see if there's a spark. Again, this seal, this bush is doing the same thing. You can sort of push it back on. I think what I might do is literally take that bolt out and then undo the shock absorber, and then that whole bit lifts off the engine. The engine and wheel will sit there as it is, and I might even just flipping wang them on there. Oh, there's a screw thread on the end there, isn't there? Ah, yeah, I might put a bit of Evo stick on there or something, a bit of contact, wang them right in there, and once they're actually right in, they should stay there, because these two little forks should sit in that groove slightly. Then if I put the washer on the outside and then screw that on, I reckon I'm going to be good to go there. I reckon that'll do it. So that's pretty much what I did yesterday. Like I said, this evening all I've done is basically the exhaust pipe, but it's something that needed to be done, because when I go to try and start it up, I don't want it exhaust. It will affect the way it runs, because it's a two-stroke and it relies on the back pressure generated by the exhaust pipe, holding the gases back in to push the new fuel through and all the rest of it. So it's essential that the exhaust pipe is on there. It's alright with a four-stroke, you can cut the pipe off and have a naked pipe and all that, it makes lots of noise, but on a two-stroke you have to have a can as such. Whether it be like a micron or expansion chamber, that's on the upper echelons of exhaust systems, that's sort of racing territory, if you like. That's a bog standard one, because the bikes stay in bog standard. Right, the chassis number is well in view there. Steering lock, I masked that off, so that's good. I've put the decal on the tank there, and I've actually lacquered over it, so that's all jolly nice. I've got a couple more to go on here and there, but I don't have these. What it is, you have a stripe, like a twin stripe going down, a thin white stripe, and then FZ50 written above there, just above where the foot pegs go on there. I don't know what I've done with them. I can't find them in a spare room, and I can't find them in the shed, but they'll turn up, because they're not lost. So we've got no leaks from the oil pipe, from the old reservoir there. So basically, the engine has gearbox oil in the gearbox to do all the gearage and clutch and all the rest of it, and for ignition you have petrol and two-stroke oil mixture, which is mixed by the pump, and it gets dripped in there onto the right hand engine bearing, which keeps that lubricated, because the left hand engine bearing is lubricated by the gearbox oil. Okay, I have learnt so much from this little bike, and despite its size, like I said to Andy McCall earlier on today, the technical stuff on this, because I've never done a two-stroke per se like this before. The learning curve was right up there, and because it all arrived in bags, it's like I said to him, he did giggle, it's like trying to do a jigsaw puzzle with blank pieces of puzzle and no picture. That is what it's like trying to put this bike back together. As you've seen before, I've put things on backwards, and I've got my knickers in a twist about it, because things. So yeah, I said to Andy, I do these restorations for two reasons. One, because I absolutely love anything mechanical. It could be a washing machine, it could be a kettle, a tumble dryer, a car, a truck, van, motorcycle, helicopter, plane, you name it. Anything, I will take it back together, take it apart, put it back together, and guarantee I'll have 3 screws left over each time. But no, it's how I taught myself. It's how I learn what I do for my hobby. This is just a hobby. And the second reason, the most important reason, is because when I started, when I was like 15, 16, tinkering in my old house garage, many moons ago, I didn't have a manual, didn't have the internet, and it would have been great just to be able to go somewhere and click on something and go, oh yeah, that's how you do that. Or in my case, that's how you put something on backwards. But you see what I mean? It's nice to have somewhere to go. It's nice to be able to help people, basically. I'm learning all the time. I'm 54 now, and I'm still flipping learning. I mean, the BSE Aerial 3, that's going to be a whole new ballpark all over again. Yes, it's 2-stroke, but it's non-conformist. It's not the run-of-a-mill 2-stroke. Well, it is, kind of thing. You'll see what I mean. So again, that's going to be another challenge, and I love it. But I've learnt many things doing this one little Susie. Many things about myself, as well as the bike. So the amount of money that's gone into this is silly. It's not even worth talking about now. And when you look at it, it's pocket-sized. Where's the money gone? But it's in there somewhere. Anyway, that's enough rabbiting. I hope the camera hasn't turned itself off. No, it hasn't. It did last time. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll get a brew, I think, if I start tinkering around with wiring looms and stuff like that. Take care. Right, what a beautiful day for it. It's a beautiful sunny, warm afternoon, which is nice, few and far between. Okay, I've got this rear rack on. These are Royal Enfield Himalayan exhaust cover panel bolts. And they'll do for me. There I've used stainless big crosshead and lock nuts underneath, which is nice. Now I want to put the exhaust on, but I don't want to put the exhaust on before I sort out that puncture problem. So that's going to have to be done. I've got the exhaust cover. I found some decent stainless fixings to go in there. That's all ready to go. And as I've got this on, I think today I'm going to concentrate on cableage and wiring, because I can't really put too much more on the bike without putting stuff on that I need to remove again. So my first port of call, I thought, was right, let's get some indicators whacked on there. So I've got one without a nut and one with a nut, so I'm going to try both. But in order to try, one needs to thread cable down through there, which is not easy. I've tried using that cable. I've tried using a normal piece of cable. If you put a bend on it, like so, it goes round that corner, then it goes down so far, and then it stops. So over my, excuse me quality, we're doing some video recording here. Yeah, just because you've had a walk, you think you're hard now, don't you? Wally. Now, over my many years of fishing cables through various apertures, this is your friend, the quality zip tie. Watch. Watch, he says, as it doesn't come out. Ooh, let's put a little tiny bend on the end of there, like so. So it goes actually down the stem, not up the stem. And there we go. There is your zip tie. So you hook that out of there with a pair of long nose, tape on a bit of whatever, bit of cable. I'm going to use that yellow cable, bit of red tape on it. Pull that back through, so I've got draw lines each side to then tape the proper cables on, and then down through and out. So top tip there, tie wraps are not just good for welding plastics or tie wrapping. Come to think of it, they're also great fishes for something like that. Right, I'm going to crack on. Front rack is on that. Now, to hold the 50cc panel on here, it clips up, and it's like a hole, if you like, an elongated hole which sits in there. And then at the bottom there, I thought that was threaded. In actual fact, it's a push fit. So what I've done is because I have literally one of everything in the shed, I called upon my interior car trim box of tricks, and I scanned through it, and I came upon, let me see, where are you? Put some light on, might be able to see what I'm doing. What did I come upon? Who misses? I wanted something like that you push in, and when you put the top pin in, it splays these prongs outwards and sort of holds itself in situ. Don't tell me I only had the one. That would be flipping crazy. Anyway, you saw the black piece that's in the bike. I really can't find any. There must be some more on it. So I pushed the black piece in the bike, as you saw, and it came with, there's the other end of it, which pops through. So I thought to myself, give it a quick dab of paint. So I had to go into the dustbin to find my can, which had a few molecules of blue left, and there we have it. So I sprayed that up, and I sat that on there overnight, and it's ready to go on now. But I can't put that panel on until I've done the wiring and or / cableage. Need to get all these cables down in a minute and start to I have a drawing which shows where the cables run. Okay, and then once the cables and the wiring in, that can then sit on top and cover all the cables up. Leg shield can go on, front mud guard can go on, rear mud guard can go on even, and headlight can go in, the wiring can be connected, that can be sorted out, and yeah, it's going to go very quickly. I don't want it to go very quickly, so I'm hoping I'm going to have some balls ups, so I can take my time over it, to be fair. But yeah, we're getting there. It's looking good at the moment. Sunny side up. Right, there is the air cleaner box. I'm waiting on the correct filter from, and as you can see, my effort is still, oh shit, inside there. I think that will do just to fire the engine up. How that has stayed white, I have no idea, but I have had to give it a wipe over just now. I do want to get to the point where I'm going to try and fire it up either today or tomorrow. The fuel tank has got two outlets on it, hasn't it? It's got the lower pipe for the reserve and the slightly higher pipe for the normal fuel delivery. And inside those pipes, if you cast your minds back, when I first got round to cleaning out and sort of prepping the fuel tank, I pulled out some filters that actually sit inside the delivery pipe. And can I find them online? Can I hell? I found one, I think it was in Germany somewhere, and it was stupid money. So I'm going with the inline filter, as I have one. That is going to be my filter. You need two EG, I hear you crying. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But where I have the reserve pipe, which is the lowest, and the one above it, which is the normal tank, my train of thought is, if there is but particles of gunk in that fuel tank, I'm going to give it a swill out first before I put the proper fuel in. Any sediment or water, etc., is going to sit on the bottom. Therefore, it will come out of the reserve pipe. Agreed? Great. So I'm going to use this filter on the reserve pipe. Another thing I want to do is I'm going to use that to drip feed petrol to the carb initially, but I also want to commandeer, like I have done in the past, some of this pipe to use actually as the fuel line. Reason being, this black stuff, I bought this, it was online, it was under Suzuki FZ50 hoses and fuel pipe, and it is this. Now, the internal diameter of this pipe is rather large and it's very floppy on the outlets. So I don't want to really trust this to it, plus I haven't got enough to do the whole lot. So what I'll do is the two fuel delivery pipes from the tank will be that transparent stuff, so I can see what's going on, and the other stuff I will have to use along with the supplied little bag of clips to keep things unleaky. So that's that. I will be getting on with that as well today, because there's no reason, once I've got the coil on there and the ECU and all that kind of stuff, there's no reason really why, and the rear brake cable, there's no reason why I can't try and at least see if I've got a spark. If I've got a spark, and I know I can add the fuel, I know there's air going to be there. We'll see if anything happens when I kick the Kickstarter. That'll be interesting, won't it? Right, I better get on. Got so much to do. Right, I'm going with indicator with the nut on there, and if you notice, I've put copper slip grease on there because that is such like raw metal. It's screaming out to rust, and we don't want that going on, do we, guys? So another top tip is when you start winding this in there like that, make sure you are twisting the cable anti-clockwise, because that's going clockwise, okay? Otherwise you're going to end up with a nasty, twisty, possibly broken cable inside the handlebar. So that's a top tip there. And then when you get that done up almost to where you need to be, just nip that little knot, lock that up against there, and everything should be hunky-dory. Okay, right, I need to crack on, and I need 2 hands to do it. Catch you in a bit. Okay, now we've got that in, it's nice and tight. I even haven't nipped that up yet, so that's actually perfect. I like to have the indicators perfectly horizontal with the road, sort of thing. Some people have them stuck up in the air, headlights. Why? People need to see what you're doing. We haven't finished with this side yet, with this fish. I've finished with that fish, obviously, to get that through there, but there is another hole here, isn't there, guys? And this little broken old, knackered old grommet goes in there, and it angles downwards, because that carries this cable, which is the brake cable. Cable? What's a cable? The brake cable. So that needs to go down in there as well. So I need to go and find a longer tie wrap to do the same thing there. Oh, it's never ending, isn't it? Okay. Well, it has a bit of a face. Here we are. We've got the left hand indicator, right hand indicator, and we have the switch gear for the front brake light. Well, rear brake obviously, but yeah, that's what that does. And there it goes in there, like so. That's literally split into 2. So if it lasts, it lasts. If it doesn't, I can see why. Right, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Well, I've got the grips on. Now it's taken me an hour just to find the 2 grips, because they were in the shed of mess. God knows where they were. I couldn't find. I've been in every drawer. I've been everywhere. Literally, I'm sick to death of searching for things. Okay, like I said, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Episode 41, episode 42. Now I need to study my paperwork and see whereabouts the cables go and which way they're routed and all the rest of it, just to finish off the cableage and the control gears. Okay, right, I'll catch you in episode 43. Take care, guys, and don't forget, if you need to talk to somebody, please don't put it off. Talk to somebody today. Cheers, guys.